Hello, welcome to Poker Room Review. I'm Charlene.
I'm Crispin.
And this video, we're going to discuss the top 5 poker rooms of 2023. Congratulations, Crispin. We have visited 19 and more poker rooms this year.
Yeah, it's been a pretty magnificent year for poker, particularly the pandemic has finished. I mean, when the pandemic was on, I was thinking to myself that maybe live poker would be dead forever, that everything would be shut down. And some things from that time have really been hurt, and yet poker has come back with a vengeance. And we're reaching an all-time high in terms of attendance for poker rooms, people playing poker, people talking about it, people making poker content. So it's really great to see this has come through the other end of that period stronger and better than ever.
Yeah, and for sure. And even just seeing how we've been able to travel for poker and the response for this channel. So more and more, every time we publish, there's more love to look at different poker rooms around the world and how they play. It's been exciting.
It's been really exciting. And on the topic that you've suggested, was Charlene's idea to rank some top poker rooms of 2023. And I've been agonizing over it. We talked a bit off camera about it. I've been agonizing about it, and I think that I have to put some criteria around it, and hopefully you'll be okay with it. Number one, it can only be from the time that we've reviewed it, because a lot of the rooms have changed since then for better or worse, and they will come up next year perhaps as, you know, the best improvers or the worst kind of falling angels. But for now, just based upon when they were reviewed in terms of ranking them, even though I know that some of them have changed. And also, I can't really break it down by category or anything, so it's basically got to be my subjective analysis of what the top 5 of this year were.
Yeah.
Happy with that?
Yeah, I'm happy with that. All right, so number 5.
Number 5 is the Gold Coast. I need to have one Australian one on there. And of the Australian rooms, I think the Gold Coast is the best because it is such a gorgeous location. It's a world-renowned tourist destination. You can bring the whole family. There's so much to do. The room itself is absolutely gorgeous. It's got a wonderful panorama of Broadbeach City. You can walk out on the balcony while you're playing. You just feel good being there.
Yeah.
Staff are really friendly. And it is becoming the poker capital of Australia at the moment, at least in terms of international draws. It used to be Melbourne with the Aussie Millions, but now the Gold Coast has the WPT, it has PokerStars, has these big international series, and that counts for a lot. So in terms of like locations in Australia that's just really nice, I think the Gold Coast edges out the competition. The drawbacks are the rake is high, like all poker rooms in Australia. Gold Coast doesn't have any great rewards. There's no raw flush jackpots or high hand bonuses or anything like that.
Pretty expensive too.
It's expensive to stay there as a location. If you can get accommodation, make sure you book early because prices are prohibitively expensive. So with all that in mind, there are some major drawbacks. But the room runs every day and the games usually get up by around midday, even though, you know, they're like limited in scope in terms of the games that are available, but they do have tournaments running. And also Brisbane is only an hour and a half away. So if the games aren't good while you're in the Gold Coast, you can get in a train and go somewhere else as well, which is rare in Australia because Australia's a massive continent. So for those reasons, I think Gold Coast comes in at number 5.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. It does make sense. Yeah, I particularly loved the Gold Coast and the fact that, it's so proximate to Brisbane. There is a tram now and a train, so it's really convenient and gorgeous weather as well. So, and just holiday vibes. Everyone's on holiday when they come to the Gold Coast. So, number 4.
Number 4, I'm going to go a bit different with Metro's card room in Manila. Oh, actually, I'm also leaving the community poker leagues off this list. So Shark Poker and the like. I don't know where they'd rank, but I've deliberately excluded them. These are casinos. These are major card rooms. Those kinds of things. So Metro is coming in at number 4 in Manila. And that's because, first of all, it's extremely inviting for new players. There's like low stake levels. There's a lot of games running. And if you're not used to playing live poker, Metro's is really easy introduction. That's a good thing.
People are lovely at Metro.
That's a big plus. The people at Metro's running the card room are really great people. They love poker. They're passionate about the game. That's clearly why they've started a card room, and they know what poker players like. The service is absolutely fantastic. It's in a kind of restaurant district, and all those menus are available. So you can just order food, and someone will go and get the food from the restaurant and bring it to you while you're playing. And it also has huge tournament series with its own feature table, its own commentary, its own RFID. So it's got all the big bells and whistles, and yet is completely accessible. Also, it's very local. If you want a local Filipino feel, if you want to get out of the tourist mode and get into kind of the community, it's a really good avenue for doing that, because most of the Filipinos, they're playing at Metros. And the area itself is an incredible shopping district. The SM Mega Mall is one of the biggest malls in the world. Pasig is a place that not all that many tourists go to when they're coming to Manila, and yet it is like a first-rate, first-world area, or Tigas. So the area that the room is in, you've got Mega Mall, you've got Shangri-La, you've got Ayala, all these shopping districts. So it's a really nice place to be. And the tournament series, they're running all the time, and they're really big, and they're a big draw, and you can you get involved. So for all of those reasons, I think Metros is really nice.
But what's like one drawback?
Well, the big drawback is the rake. Because particularly, like, I judge it more harshly in countries like the Philippines or Cambodia or other kind of countries that are developing where wages are lower than in the West, because it means that it feels more greedy if rake is high, because you're not paying the same operating costs as you are in a place like Australia, which has just got crippling taxes and massively high wages.
Yeah.
It's understandable that rake is 10% in Australia. It's less understandable in a place like Manila. And in particularly Metros, because they don't have in their cash games big bonuses. There's no bad beat jackpots, royal flash jackpots, high hand bonuses, none of that, which you do see in other Manila poker rooms. So on the rake side of things, it lets things down. If it wasn't for that, let's imagine Metros made rake 5% and they had a bad beat jackpot, and that if they just did that, then Metros could easily be number one.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. Oh, I love going to Metro Card Room, only because, like you said, it's literally in a food district. Well, do you remember that restaurant that we always had with the chicken?
Oh, well, I don't remember the name for it, but it's like a Turkish-style restaurant or Persian-style.
Persian,
really
it's like one of the first restaurants that you drive in. Phenomenal. Go try it out if you're going to Metros.
Yeah.
So, number 3.
Number 3, I'm going to say Dragonara.
Malta.
In Malta, yeah. So Malta itself is just a gorgeous country. It's an island country, and it has remarkable history, stunning beauty. Valletta, the capital, is one of the most beautiful cities in the world, period. And it has a really fascinating story. You know, the Knights of St. John, the Hospitallers, the Siege of Malta. Like, it's got this epic story to it that's really great. And then if you want to go to a sort of less touristy area, you go to the island of Gozo, which is just attached to the island of Malta. Beautiful tradition, old feel, old traditional Maltese culture. And so there's so much to it. And then there's the Hypogeum in Malta, like these old megalithic structures from a completely lost civilization, this subterranean area that's absolutely magnificent. It's like on par with the pyramids, I think. It's just absolutely stunning, and yet far less well known. So there are so many attractions in Malta. The food is great, the weather is fantastic, and Dragonara is right out on the seaside. It's like this out on a peninsula. It's got its own kind of road out to the casino there, and it's absolutely stunning place to play poker. You're sitting out there on the veranda area. There's just the sun going down over the harbour. There's no place that you're going to feel more wondrous than playing in Dragonara. The drawbacks to Dragonara are that it's small. It's not a big place to play poker. It only runs from about 7 p.m. onwards, the poker room. They do have tournaments, but they're very small, very low stakes, low number of runners. And the cash games are only 1 or 2 tables. So that's the drawback. But the service is fantastic. They bring you great food. There's a wonderful menu. The service staff are fantastic. And people are very friendly. And there's kind of a good sort of Southern European, Sicilian vibe at the table. There's a lot of locals playing, and they're just very friendly people. So for that reason, it's one of the best places to play in the world. I would still recommend, if you play in Malta, to come during one of the big tournament series, and you could go to Portomaso, which is another casino there that usually has bigger tournaments and things. Because there's just so the poker itself is so low key that if you're coming to Malta for poker, it's better to have it during one of the big draws.
Yeah.
But if you're going to Malta for a holiday, which is absolutely something you should do anyway, then going to Dragonara is a great option because it's a beautiful place to play.
Makes sense. So you can go to Malta, have a holiday, and the poker's pretty decent. Just exists, it's decent, even without the major draws.
Yeah, it's a beautiful location. I mean, that's the main attraction. There is nothing like seeing the sun go down over the horizon of St. Julian's. It's beautiful.
Well, I have to go next time.
Yeah, you haven't been, have you?
No, I didn't get to go to Malta last time. I had to go to work. That's all right. Number 2.
Number 2, I'm going to say D1 in Dublin. Because it has the best service of any place in the world. It's got this really friendly vibe. It's a casino, and yet it feels more like a community poker. The staff are really friendly. They bring around free food, free drinks, you can have free wine. When I first went there, they had no idea I was planning to do a review or anything. I was just some random guy. And yet they were incredibly welcoming. Like, they hadn't started the game yet, so the guy who was running the show just took me on a tour of his casino. And just showed me the things and talked about the different food and things. Just to kill time, not even for any agenda, not to get me to buy anything or anything. He was just excited for his business. So I was very pleased with that. And the other players there were incredibly welcoming. The Celts, you can't really get past Irish hospitality. And then the actual rake was fantastic. Not only was the rake good, but they have fantastic, incredible rewards. So if you play enough hours, I didn't because you have to be there a couple of months, but if you're staying in Dublin, then you can work up enough points effectively to join their free tournament. That tournament has thousands and thousands of euros in payout. And it's a small tournament. It's just for the cash game players, so it's not big numbers. And then they've got another reward as well. Go check out that video. It explains it all in detail. But there's a lot of benefits to playing there, which surprises me for a relatively small room that doesn't have that much competition. And it just shows they're just not greedy. It's a business. They're trying to make money, but it's not. You don't feel the penny pinching there. You feel like you're welcome as a guest. And I think that goes a long way. The drawbacks to D1, it would be number 1 if the fact that it only opens from 7 p.m.
Yeah.
So I don't know if there's a government restriction there or they just don't have the volume, but it only opens at 7 p.m, the actual poker room.
Yeah.
And they only have 4 or 5 tables. So they always have Omaha as well as the Hold'em, so that's good. But just the fact that it's small and has limited hours, it's hard to make it number 1 in that circumstance. But Dublin, beautiful city, Irish, wonderful people, and D1, a great room.
Yeah, nice. Oh, gosh, I would feel like we're going to amp it up and drum up what's going to be number 1.
Well, number 1, I fear won't be number 1 next year. So going by the rules I set out at the beginning,
yes,
it has to be at the time that we did the review.
Okay.
And this is one of the rooms that I know has changed significantly since then. And that would be Newport World Resorts in Manila. I mean, in terms of when we reviewed it, fantastic service, amazing. Like everything is instant. Most things are free. The rake is excellent. The rewards, there's this wonderful Babi jackpot. They have high hand bonuses that pay out every day.
Right there. At the airport.
Location can't be better. Like you exactly as you say. If you arrive at Terminal 3, there's an road runway bridge that you just walk across and you go straight into the casino. The whole Newport area is a wonderful place to walk up and down. It's completely secure and has great accommodation and great services, great restaurants. The Newport Mall is fantastic. So it's just a beautiful area of the world and a huge room and great service and great rewards and all across the world. And then just the culture of service and making you feel welcome is really great. I'm fearful, I don't want to talk about it now because I haven't gone there and reviewed it myself, and I don't want to just go on secondhand, third-hand reports, but the poker room has moved.
Yeah.
And so I need to go check it out and see whether it's still okay. But
It really fluctuated up and down this year because they did a lot of changes. I know that Newport, they're doing a lot of construction, so the poker room like moved to the smoking area and we're like, no go. And then they moved back and now it's moved outside.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about that too much now because until I've seen it, I don't want to comment because it might be. But certainly it was number one. And we will see. Next year we might do a most improved and biggest like fallen demons, all that stuff. But at the time of recording the review, Newport World Resorts would be number one, D1 number two, Dragonara number three, Metro's number four, and Gold Coast coming in number five.
Wow, that's huge. And a bit of fun fact as well, like the reason we launched Poker Room Review was because of Newport World Resorts, of that being the best poker room in the world, your favourite poker room. And we want more people to know about it, I guess.
Yeah, well, also like the actual channel, there was a clear need for it, and there is a clear need for it. I mean, I was always completely frustrated when I would want to go travel place to play poker and not get good information about what the local poker scene was like in terms of where to go and how to play and what was available, what the laws were like. And so I thought, God, someone should do this. And I realized at some point that I was someone.
Yeah. I remember you like asking so many people, telling people about the idea, hoping someone will pick it up.
But it's been a great year. We were up to well over 800 subs in just 1 year, which is remarkable.
Yep.
And thank you, all of you, for sticking with us through that process, and people that have recently joined us. So you can go check out all those reviews. Would love to hear your feedback on the quality of the reviews over the past year. Is there an aspect of this that you'd like to hear more about, but I don't focus on as much? I'm happy to hear those things. There is a video explaining why I don't talk about the quality of the players and things like that. That goes into detail about that, mostly because it's subjective. I mean, I'm only there for a short period of time and can only get the one table that I happen to be playing at any one time. So it's not, I don't have that helicopter view. But in terms of the actual quality of the games and the rake and the service and how to get there and all of those things, hopefully it's added value to you. And thank you so much for watching. So you've been working on this since the beginning. You're co-host, incredible editor, putting on all the jokes. What is the thing that you've most got out of doing this over the past year?
Wow, that's a big question. I think the biggest thing I got out of this is understanding poker. Because I don't play poker. And understanding the reputation of poker. I have more respect for the game. Previously I used to group poker with every other gambling product and thought to myself, my goodness, why am I promoting gambling at all? And like, why? But now that I understand poker and getting into the community and understanding, all the different aspects, I've grown a greater appreciation for it. And it's an intellectual sport. And I think more people who, are like this kind of things should be able to play it, essentially. So that's probably the most important thing I got out of this year working on the channel, and is bringing that like passion and just showcase the love of poker to the world. Yeah.
That's a really great answer. That's a really great answer because poker is clumped together with other forms of gambling. And even among poker players themselves, there is that tension of like, well, poker is something different, but how is it different and to what degree is it different? I think that's something that we need to think about. And it's been really good kind of talking about how poker is a sport, how it is a competitive activity, and not the same as other forms of gambling, but with some shared overlap and characteristics. And teasing those issues out has been really good. If we can reconstitute the reputation of poker in the minds of the general public, then that is a great thing as well. So it's great that you've said that. I wouldn't have picked that as the thing, but now that you've said it, I think it's really important.
Yeah, and Poker Room Review is just super wholesome in its own way because it's like about travel, it's about adventure, it's about meeting new people and creating the community. It's not, about skill and strategy. I mean, that's a place, but yeah, so it's just, great to be part of. If you have questions, feedback, please leave them down below. We read all the comments. We're always trying to figure out new ways to improve the channel and bring poker to the world. So thanks for being on this journey, and we will see you next time.
Ciao for now.